So there's a recent article written in Vanity Fair showing how Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump are no longer feeling welcome among their old friends back in New York. Now, they explained that they used to be pretty popular among some of the New York elite. And now, since taking the White House, along with their father, and by the way, adding that the campaign is now under investigation and has ended up in alienating most Americans, they no longer feel welcome among some of their peers. Now, these are people, apparently, that they had relationships with, friendships, things like that. People like Wendy Dang, Dasha Zukova, Carly Kloss, Ellie Goulding, Nikki Hilton, and Joan Smalls. And just for the record, I have no idea who any of these people are. You say, like, who the hell is Dasha Zukova? I don't know. I don't know. So these people, their names, I mean, in their world, their names are like, ooh, look at Wendy Dang. Dang. For us, for regular people, we're like, who? Why does this matter? Well, that's a good question, actually. But look, Jared and Ivanka were actually fairly close to these people, and they actually do provide some insight into how they're actually dealing with the Russia investigation, the Mueller investigation, as well as the pressures of being where they're at. Now, for example, to show you the kind of relationships that they had, Carly Kloss had been dating Josh Kushner, that's Jared Kushner's brother. Ivanka and Zukova, of course, were longtime friends. Dang had vacationed with the couple in Croatia last summer and even sat by Ivanka's side on the eve of her father's inauguration. But apparently, according to this article, those relationships seem to have soured in the last year since the election of her father, Donald Trump, and he actually has a lot to do with it. As Vanity Fair writes, quote, their circle is tightened, whether by choice or not. Now, according to sources in New York, many of their one-time friends have stepped away from the couple as they jumped in headfirst to support her father and his policies, and very few have rushed back towards them. Kushner himself noted to Forbes after the election that friends or business associates of theirs had not been enthused by Trumpian values, though he called it an, quote, exfoliation on his part of former friends who didn't have a lot of character. Exfoliation? That's an interesting word to use. I exfoliated these terrible friends of mine. They didn't have much character. No, maybe it's you that didn't have much character because, again, you're supporting a monster with monstrous policies. Just saying. Maybe the problem is you. And the fact that you're under investigation. But look, here's what's going on. Again, like I said, Trump has tried to pass terrible policies, Muslim ban. He's vilified Mexicans and Muslims and African Americans. He's allied himself with the alt-right on positions, as well as defended white supremacists. Hey, people on both sides, man. But there are some very fine people on both sides. And, of course, continuously tweets out stupid things. Fights with the media, fights with everybody. So, again, that does not look good. And anybody connected with them immediately gets pointed out in the media. It's like, hey, man, why are you actually, why can you stand that? How can you stand that? Being close to that kind of person. So it's bad PR. And of course, like I said before, the campaign is under the Mueller investigation for financial crimes and collusion with Russia, as well as obstruction of justice. So it makes sense that all their friends are going, no, Jared Kushner, Jared who? Ivanka who? I don't know who you're talking about. They're not my friends. Nonetheless, the couple has been insisting to their remaining friends in recent weeks that their family has settled in well in Washington and that they're focused on what the administration should prioritize in 2018. Still, the Trump Kushners, as much as skilled branders as they are political neophytes, have not been able to privately shake concern over the looming investigation. During the weekend before Mueller's first indictments were unsealed, 3 sources who spoke to Kushner or were familiar with his conversations told me, the person that wrote the article, that he worked the phones asking about whether they thought the investigation would amount to anything. One of the people close to the family told him, quote, they're in a world of shit. He may seem cool, but he's sweating, and she's like her father. She'll never acknowledge it and will blame the media. But she's been working on her reputation forever, and now it's going to suffer horribly. And for what? So those are people close to the couple. Okay? Close to the family. It doesn't surprise me at all that she's like her dad. Oh, no, nothing's going on. It's all fake news anyway. The media's just coming after me. Yeah, that's a lot what Trump, that's a lot like what Trump thinks. And of course, Kushner is also a lot like Trump. He's not a very smart person. In fact, his reputation, as well as Ivanka's reputation, is now garbage. And Kushner, of course, what doesn't help is that he was found to be a lot like Donald Trump, which again makes weird sense, considering who he's married. And then, of course, we also found out that he was a bit of a slumlord and would throw people in jail for not paying their rent. Now, he would do so using the court, one of the loopholes that actually does allow people to get put into a sort of debtor's prison. So that's terrible. Now, Kushner is also under investigation for his role in firing James Comey. Not only that, but a lot of Trump allies are also turning on Kushner. For example, Roger Stone and Steve Bannon have convinced Trump that Kushner had been giving him terrible advice and actually is one of the worst advisors that Trump had ever had. Hey, man, look, yeah, you made him advisor despite the fact that he knew nothing about policy or apparently politics. What do you expect? Just saying. And he did so only because of nepotism, and that's the only reason Ivanka Trump is also there. Again, nepotism, right? But look, these friends are very, very correct. The Trump brand is forever tainted. It's not going to recover, okay? And if anything, it's actually made other people who have done horrible things look good. He's made George W. Bush look good. This guy's a war criminal, right? And yet, again, warmonger, war criminal, and Donald Trump has made you look good. That's messed up. When that happens, you know you're not winning any popularity contests. As for Ivanka and Kushner, again, ouch. For one, their companies suffer, right? The Ivanka brand is, of course, now linked to Trump. And look, I don't think there's enough high-end, rich Trump people that are going to make sure to be able to keep her expensive line of shoes and handbags up and running. So what happens when she leaves the White House? I don't know. And if Kushner, of course, if he gets indicted for helping obstruct justice, well, that's a serious charge. Yes, an indictment doesn't necessarily mean they're guilty or going to be found guilty. But again, obstruction of justice is a serious, serious charge with serious implications. So who knows? So absolutely, they are in a world of shit. And it's all because of her father's ego, because he had to be president. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.